Michael Aquino is the most notorious perpetrator of CIA child trafficking in modern history. He has been implicated in every major scandal concerning organized CIA child trafficking to VIPs, including McMartin Preschool, the Presidio childcare case, and the Franklin scandal. All of these cases involve the CIA training children to perform as prostitutes and worse, using military brainwashing techniques including unethical hypnosis, drugs, and electric shock. Michael Aquino, born October 16, 1946 in San Francisco, an American-born occultist, a former lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army military intelligence officer, specializing in psychological warfare, and best known as a high-level Luciferian, founder and Don High Priest of the Temple of Set, which today is the largest neo-satanic church in America, who had unprecedented access and control over National Security Agency tools and resources. He is also known as the 13th Baron of Roshane, Clan of Campbell, in Scotland, UK. In 1969, while serving in the U.S. military, he joined Anton LaVey's Church of Satan and rose rapidly through the group's ranks. In 1970, while he was serving with the U.S. military during the Vietnam War, Aquino was stationed in Ben Cat in South Vietnam when he authored a tract entitled Diabolican, in which he reflected upon his growing divergence from the Church of Satan's doctrines. Aquino is a convicted child molester who is primarily, but not exclusively, in charge of kidnapping children across America and using them for sexual pleasure or Luciferian worship sacrifices. He has raped and molested many children, some of whom contracted venereal disease, and he was allowed to carry out these activities until the end of his days, using taxpayer dollars. His sexual nature mirrors that of the Luciferian sexual agenda. He's famous for being accused in sworn testimony by 83 different children of being the owner-operator of the primary child sex ring that is backed by the CIA. In the Franklin case, Aquino was the focal point of victim testimony that the U.S. government was able to sweep under the rug. 900 witnesses were interviewed in the Presidio case, and they determined that none were credible. Aquino was charged and found guilty of the crimes against him, but was able to use an alternate defense that allowed him to plead insanity and receive mental health treatment rather than execution. Aquino later tried to sue the Army to make them remove his name from the official report of the criminal investigations against him. Although the justice system was manipulated, and intentional disinformation campaigns like Wikipedia will tell you that his primary accuser Alicia Owen was sent to jail, it fails to mention that she was awarded several $1 million in justified damages. Aquino remained on the job and very active with Luciferian interests. Until his death by suicide in 2020, Aquino actually believed that he was a supernatural being, unable to be prosecuted and held accountable for his crimes. He is likely possessed by a demonic entity and has no value for human life or progression. He possesses the capability to manipulate the NSA's extensive resources, encompassing phone and email surveillance, computer monitoring, and satellite tracking. His control extends to advanced technologies like ELF wave transmissions and electromagnetic brain manipulation. The Temple of Set was established in 1975 by Lieutenant Colonel of the U.S. Army, Michael Aquino, and certain members of the priesthood of the Church of Satan, who left because of administrative and philosophical disagreements with its founder, and, as Aquino said, because he was disgusted at the corruption within the Church of Satan. The Temple of Set was incorporated in California that same year as a non-profit church. Although Aquino continued to be an active member of the Temple of Set, he relinquished all official positions within the organization by 2004. The office of High Priest is currently held by Magistra Patricia Hardy, Priestess Oz Tech, who succeeded Aquino in 2004. According to an article in the October 30, 1987, San Francisco Examiner, one of the victims had identified Aquino and his wife as participants in the child rape. According to the victim, the Aquinos had filmed scenes of the child being fondled by Hambright in a bathtub. The child's description of the house, which was also the headquarters of Aquino's satanic Temple of Set, was so detailed that police were able to obtain a search warrant. During the raid, they confiscated 38 videotapes, photo negatives, and other evidence that the home had been the hub of a pedophile ring, operating in and around U.S. military bases. This evidence establishes a clear link between the Temple of Set, the operation of organized pedophile rings, psychological operations, the MK Ultra project, and various forms of mind control. The more you dig up on this guy, the worse he looks. Aquino and Vallely called for an explicitly Nietzschean form of warfare, which they dubbed mind war. Mind war is the deliberate, aggressive convincing of all participants in a war that we will win that war. For Aquino, Mind war is a permanent state of strategic psychological warfare against the populations of friend and foe nations alike. In its strategic context, mind war must reach out to friends, enemies, and neutrals alike across the globe through the media possessed by the United States, which have the capabilities to reach virtually all people on the face of the earth. These media are, of course, the electronic media, television and radio, state-of-the-art developments in satellite communication, video recording techniques, and laser and optical transmission of broadcasts make possible a penetration of the minds of the world. Michael Aquino was the master of psychological manipulation. Michael Aquino took his own life, apparently on September the 1st of 2023. May he rest in hell. A tip to control. Alt-delete, taking out Trash 7 on X. A TruthTide-TV adaptation.